Okay, this is part two of a message. One of them that I did. Well, I kind of just did it through my phone and wrote down, if you will, through text to speak kind of stuff. Um, a message that God wanted out. But this is also about God's timing, what Scripture says about it. So, but yeah. So the one that is really pertinent is Ecclesiastes 3, and it says a time for everything. Um, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather them, a time to embrace and a time to refrain, a time to search and a time to give up, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak up, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. So yeah. And he also goes on to say he has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing for men than to be happy and do good while they live, that everyone may eat and drink and find satisfaction in his toil. This is a gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, nothing can be taken from it. God does it so that men will revere him. Whatever has already been done, what will be before, God will call the past to account. And then it talks about in the place of judgment, wickedness was there. In the place of justice, wickedness was there. God will bring judgment both to the righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity, for every deed. And then Ecclesiastes 9, I have seen something else under the sun. The race is not to the swift or to battle the strong, nor does food come to the wise, or wealth to the brilliant, or favor to the learned. But time and chance happen to them all. Moreover, no man knows when his hour will come. As fish are caught in a cruel net, or birds are taken in a snare, so men are trapped by evil times that fall unexpectedly on them. God knows everything that goes on in our life. He knows all of the stuff that you and I face on a daily basis. He knows the challenges that you and I happen. Sometimes he puts us in situations and makes us wait, which is really frustrating. I had to wait 13 months before I got a new job. And he puts us in situations where we have to depend on him. He will always give us things that are beyond what we can handle, so he can be God and step in and help us. And he knows how to do it. He knows what things need to be there. And through my trials, he's always shown up in various ways through people. He uses people a lot of the time in your life. He makes things happen. And it may feel really bad. I mean, you may be forced to live with a relative. You may be forced to do things. You're like, why? I mean, I was expecting something different than what I'm going through. But like in my life, for instance, I mean, it's like I thought that I was going to be married and have kids and have a nice, great place to be and a career and all that. That never happened. It doesn't mean that maybe by some happenstance in the future it may happen. Maybe there's another world which we go to. I don't know. I do know that there is a heaven and an earth, and God has timing for all of it. So, yeah. But God's timing is beyond our knowing. He will give you hints as to how things are going about. He will give you little hints, and he'll give you warning dreams to show you things to not do. He'll provide you with opportunities, and some of the stuff is on us. And like, it's like, if you're just like pouting and moaning, it's like, oh, why isn't my life better? It's like, God may have provided you situations where he wanted you to go do stuff. Like in my life, for instance, he wanted me to go out and go backpacking. He wanted me to take my kayaks and go to places, and I kept making excuses. And you may have done the same thing. It's like God may have said, hey, you need to go over here and do this, or hey, you need to go do that. And it's like, well, I'm all alone, and I'm not going to do that because I'm all alone. And yeah, it's being alone is hard. For most of my life, I have not had anyone besides God, which has been very difficult. I've had to rely on my parents, which is really, I've had a job for most of my life, but there are times when I've had drought and had to do stuff that, I mean, it's like, okay, well, I don't have any other choice. But God has a reasoning behind everything, and you don't see all the pieces moving. I mean, you can never know all the pieces. There are supposedly 8 billion people on this world, which I don't think is accurate. And think of all those pieces that God moves on a daily basis. He not only knows every little piece and where it goes, he knows all of creation and where it's going as well. Like all the birds, all the animals, he knows exactly where they'll be and when they'll be, and moving them when they need to be moved. And it's just like us. But the thing is we can be out of position. We can be in a place that we weren't supposed to be, because God was expecting us to be over here, and stubbornly we've refused to move or to go there. And so so those things that God has planned that would have added unique opportunities and joyful times was crushed. So yeah, so you just need to be aware that God is at work. It's just yeah, it's just, we can be stubborn. Can be stubborn. Okay, yeah, we can be definitely stubborn. But God puts people in your path to get you on the right course. So Habakkuk 2:3, God's promises come at the appointed time. Jeremiah had to wait like 20 to 30 years, and then the person that was sitting at the pool of Siloam, and he was sitting there, and was it Jesus that came to him and told him to walk and did the miracle? Because he was like, well, when the angel stirs the water, it's like, I can't get up and move quick enough. There's other people that get to the water and are healed before I can even get up. But God has an appointed time, and what I'm trying to get at is, I mean, Sarah had to wait and be barren. Like Moses, was it? No, not Moses. Abraham thought he would never be a dad, and he was a dad at 100 years old. I mean, there's many examples of this. Like Moses had to take all the group 40 years in the desert, but that's because they didn't do the right thing. They didn't think that God's favor was on them, and they caused their own demise, which I'm sure we've all done at some point in our life. But it's and that's what I'm talking about. That's God expects us to do our part. He doesn't expect us to just sit there and go, oh well, I'll just pray and hope something goes well. It's like, no, he actually expects you to do some kind of physical effort. So and he'll make it come through. Psalms 31:15, my times are in your hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from those who persecute me. So yeah, our times are in his hands, and he knows when we need things and where we need things. However, we can stop the blessings by not being in the right place, or by sinning and going against his will and his commandments. Just like the backsliding prodigal son. I mean, he knew what he was doing, and I get a deeper meaning of that. The prodigal son represents us, when we go away. Like, we know, like, there's many stories or that I've heard about the youth, how they're brought up in Christian homes and are taught certain ways, and hey, you're to do this and not that, and then they go off to college or wherever, and they completely, like, go have parties and, like, get drunk and do all this bad stuff, and they realize, hey, the world's not really that great, and then a lot of them come running back home, and they're like, hey, well, you shouldn't have left to begin with. But and yes, we live in a really wicked time with a lot of distractions and a lot of things that are happening, but yeah, and sometimes God cuts short our lives, but he tries to bring everyone he can back to him. And there's more going on behind the scenes, and it's far different than you can ever imagine. Like, there's more yous that are happening all at once. Like, even though I don't understand it, there are versions of you in other dimensions. There are many different, like, all the choices that you have made. God sees what your life would have been like if you had made the opposite choice, and he looks at all of these possibilities and all the lives that you could have had or should have had, but he takes these all into consideration when he is making his final decision. And we don't know what that looks like at Judgment Day. We don't know how all that fits in, but somehow they do. Yeah, we don't understand this, but just think of it this way. I would rather have multiple opportunities to get it right than to just have one life. If we had just one life, it's like, okay, well, if I screw up and don't end up going the right way, well, maybe there's a chance on one of the other paths that I could have taken, or choices that I should have done. And God can see all of this. God's outside of time, and he can be in multiple places at once. I mean, look at how he's 3 in 1. God is self-created, and yeah, he knows what's going on. 1 Timothy 6:14-15. Keep commandment without stain or reproach. Stain is sin, until the appearing of Yeshua, which he will bring about at the proper time. So, without stain or reproach. So, reproach is kind of like backsliding, and we don't want others to slip because of our bad choices. In the appearing of Yeshua, it talks about this in Matthew 24, Luke 21, Mark 13, where he comes back after the sword hits. He comes back after people get in prison. He comes back after the tossing of the seas and other pieces. And I'm led to believe that the rapture and his second coming are two different things. Like, when people see him in the sky, they're going to crap their pants. But every knee will fall, because they're like, oh, well, I've been going through all of this and there was a God. I mean, it's like, imagine looking up and seeing God in the sky. Like, imagine him being right there. It's like, holy crap, he's coming out of the sky. And it says the cross will go before him, according to the Apocrypha. I don't know if it's in the Bible as well. Isaiah 49:8. In a favorable time I have answered you, and in a day of salvation I have helped you. I will keep you and give you for a covenant of the people, to restore land and make them inherit the desolate heritages. So that was in Isaiah, and what I find interesting is 2 Corinthians 6:2 expands on this, and it says that there's a time and a place for this to happen. Because in 2 Corinthians, he expands on it, says, now it's the acceptable time and day of salvation. So there's this switch. Isaiah was back in BC, and then you have this in AD. The Corinthians was like, I don't know, probably like, I don't know if it was written like 50 or 60 AD, but it was a couple hundred years after. I don't know when Isaiah lived, but yeah. But yeah, there's a substantial time. Ephesians 1 9 through 10. In the day of salvation, that is kind of representative of how Jesus came and saved us. I mean, he was the atonement for us. And so we are saved through him. There's no other way that you can be saved. Ephesians 1 9 through 10. He made known the mystery of his will, according to his kind intention, which he purposed in him, with a view to an administration suitable to the fullness of the times, the summing up of all things in Messiah, things in heaven and on earth. So, yeah. So his will is mysterious. I mean, we don't understand, just like in my life, it's like I still don't understand what's going on and the things that are happening. I don't understand why my life has been chaotic. I don't understand the things that have happened. But he keeps revealing bigger parts of him. And so yeah, we just have to keep believing and keep trusting him that he's doing the right thing. So in everything, we'll at some time in the future we'll know and understand why we've gone through what we've gone through. Galatians 4:4. When the fullness of time came, Yah sent forth his son, born of a woman, born under the law. So he was born under the law. He was born under the ways of this world, and he grew up with this world and what needed to happen. Sorry, I'm having to let my dog in. But he knows all things. And in Isaiah 55:8, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways. Want to go inside? Want to go in? So, yes, his ways are far beyond our ways, and what feels like a desert or a wilderness experience may be exactly what you need in order to get to where you need to go. Because I've gone through many wilderness experiences where I've had to endure very hard trials, and I've left jobs that I'm like, okay, why did I leave them? But I believe that my questions will be answered, and you may be praying like crazy, and you may be weeping and like I have, and I don't care. Guys, I mean, that's a bullcrap thing where it's like, oh, guys can't cry. That's just, oh, you're just a wimp. Like, that's bullshit. You're allowed to mourn. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to, yes, there are times when you need to just, like, whatever. Especially when you're getting the crap kicked out of you. Like, this past year has been an absolute nightmare. Because I know what's coming. I know that there's tsunamis. I know that there are earthquakes that are going to rock this place. I know that the Antichrist is here. I know that the surveillance system is being put out before us. I know that the mark of the beast has already been made and coming out now. Like, there's the the CPU or the hard drive is already being implemented by a certain thing that has been made in the last 5 years, that supposedly, hey, you're supposed to take this in order to keep living here. Oh, and it'll help you. Instead, it's done the opposite. I've watched people, and this is getting off topic. I've watched people before my eyes, when they've gotten this, have turned from someone I knew to someone who doesn't give a crap about anyone or anything, who wonders why they don't have empathy anymore or sympathy for whatever. And I've watched them completely change in front of my eyes to people I have no idea who they are anymore. So, yeah. Acts 1:7, Yeshua said of them, it is not for you to know the times or epochs. I had to look up epochs. It's basically an event or time marked by an event that begins a new period or development. Like, there are epochs of time, the millions and billions of years that are supposedly marked by different things like ice ages and all this stuff. They have invented this millions and billions of years because that's the only way they can explain away the earth. It's like, oh, well, this could happen if we give it enough time. Like, no, it can't. Like, oh, well, the Colorado cut all of the Grand Canyon. No, it did not. And I don't care how much time. And actually, if you look at the truth, and if you look at all the research with an open mind, like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Like, why is all this the way it is? And I'm not going to go into it because there's a lot of stuff. But which the Father has fixed by his own authority. So Yeshua said to them, it is not for you to know times or epochs which the Father has fixed in his own authority. So God has fixed time. He has told about coming events, like he did of old, like in the Old Testament. There were hints of Yeshua coming to this world and doing all that he did, which he fulfilled. He fulfilled like 300 to 400 different prophecies, and he fulfilled all of them. And he even said in the Bible, before Abraham was, I am. In other words, he was saying before Abraham was even thought of, I was already born or made, created, whatever you want to put. So Proverbs 15:23, man has joy in an apt answer, and how delightful is a timely word. Man has joy in an apt answer, and how delightful is a timely word. So when you're going through it and someone speaks up and say, hey, how you doing, and tries to help you out, that's those are the helpful words that we need. Or hey, you may have a friend or someone and they help you and they give you a word that you're like, wow, that was spot on with what I needed to hear. I mean, that's God working through people. Deuteronomy 32:4, his work is perfect, for all his ways are just, a God of faithfulness and without injustice, righteous and upright is he. So God is doing stuff all the time. It's just when we sin, because it says this in Deuteronomy and in Leviticus, when we sin, we are cursed. And we can curse ourselves. We're like, oh, I'm fat. Oh, I can't do anything. I'm just a stupid moron, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I can't, blah, blah, blah. Those are curses that you're putting on yourself. And you can upend what God is trying to do by putting these. And the thing is this is what the demons do. They put these thoughts that are like so heinous and wrong, like, oh, well, you're just blah, blah, blah. And you voice these things, and it doesn't come to fruition until you speak them out loud. And it's speaking word curses on yourself. Like if you say, oh, well, I'm fat and I'm never going to blah, blah, blah. Well, that you could potentially make those things happen by you saying that. So just be very careful with what you say. 2 Peter 3:8, with Adonai, one day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years like one day. That's what we talked about earlier, where I said, well, actually, no, I did that in my other message. So this corresponds with the days of creation, and this is God revealing to us that one day of his creation is like 1,000 years. So this world, what has been revealed to me, I believe, is like day 1 was to 1,000, day 2, 2,000, 3,000, and so on and so forth. And I believe day 6, day 7 starts at 6,000, goes to 7,000. I believe that is the 1,000-year reign. And if I'm wrong, then go to God with it. But the 1,000-year reign is for the people that I don't know. It's that wording of the 1,000-year reign is not completely. I don't know. It does say for the people of God, but I don't know how it all works, and the wording is very interesting. So yeah. But yes. So I believe that we are very close to year 6,000, and that would be the end of all the trials and tribulations. And the 1,000-year reign is a time of peace. It is a time where we get to experience God one-on-one. Well, not God, but Yeshua. He will come here and live with us on this world. And I have no idea what that time looks like because I've never been shown. But we have to keep fighting, because the last 7 years of before the rest time are the most heinous and awful times. They're filled with wrath and desolation, and this world that you're seeing right now is going to completely change. It says that, and it's in Revelation, it says mountains will move, islands will be knocked off of their base. God's going to shake the ever-living crap out of this world, and it could be multiple times, because there's multiple times in Revelation where it says earthquakes happen, and then it says seas will dry up, and it says that every living thing will be burned to a crisp. We kind of feel like we're being burned to a crisp right now because of how hot and dry it is. I believe that the water has been switched off by him, because you're seeing Lake Mead go dry. You're seeing Lake Powell go dry. The Colorado River, it's right over here, is down to like 2.5 feet, and when it's supposed to be at like 3.5 or 4.5 feet. And we are running out of water very quickly. We are under stage 2 fire restrictions. We never experienced fireworks, and it's going to get far worse. We're flying up, well, actually, we've already flown off the cliff. We're just waiting for the imminent destruction. I don't know if you've ever seen Wile E. Coyote in cartoons, where he goes running off of a cliff and then he realizes he's in thin air and then falls. That's what we're waiting for. In Matthew 24:36, of that day and hour no one knows, not even the angels of heaven nor the Son, but the Father alone. So this is the one that points to the day. However, we need to be like the 5 wise virgins and keep our lamps lit, which means that we need to be doing good works. We need to be fulfilling the Word of God. We need to pray and fast and get in God's Word constantly, and be with Him. So just be ready at all times for Him. And it does hint in other scriptures that that He will show us by His prophets, and that He will show us the season as well. In Habakkuk 2:3, so this gave me help. It says, vision is yet, or vision, I could also say dream, is for yet an appointed time, and hastens toward the goal, and it will not fail. So those of us that are seeing visions and dreams from Yeshua or from God, they will, if they are the ones that are coming from Him, will come to fruition. Like, I've gotten a buttload of dreams, and with tsunamis, with women in my life, with certain things happening, and I'm not going to go into it. But yeah, and I've spoken of this in the past, but God is warning us. And when will these things hit? I mean, right now people are talking about the day of darkness. People are also talking about the day of the Lord that are supposedly prophetic, where people have said that certain countries will storm certain other countries, and yeah, we're in the we're in the bad time. 1 Peter 5:6, humble yourselves under mighty hand of Yah, that He may exalt you at the proper time. Hello. But yeah, always keep looking for God. Always keep in in His timing. We don't know what's going on. We don't know where things are. Well, we do know where things are headed. But yeah. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. But yeah, this is my part 2. I did a part 1 with a written, a text to speech written message. But please go to Yahweh with all this and with what I'm saying. God bless you all. I wish you the best. But yeah, we're coming to a head, and I don't know when things will pop off. I feel like they're going to happen very quickly when they do. So bye for now.